Dolphins QB Tua Tagovailoa got cooked all over social media and more for his post-game comments following the team's fifth loss on Sunday. And answering a question about how players can refrain from feeling sorry for themselves, he threw his teammates under the bus by talking about how some players were late to players-only meetings or didn't even show. Wednesday, he addressed those comments to the media.
You know, as a leader of this team, of the Miami Dolphins, you know, the comments that had been said, I would say I've made a mistake, and I'm owning up to that right now. You know, I've talked to guys on the team about it, talked to the leaders about it, and you know, that they know my heart. They know that the intent was right, but no matter the intent, you know, the intent can be right, but when things get misconstrued or however the media wants to portray it, you know, that leaves a void of silence and a lot of questions for the guys on our team. Now, being 1-5, you know, we talk a lot about, all right, we got to get this going. We got to get this going. Come in excited to go to work. Forget about the noise. And I feel like I just added on to that for our guys. You know, for myself, I got to look at myself as the leader, protecting the team. I don't feel like I did that to the best of my abilities. I felt like I let the emotions of the game get to me after the game. And, you know, that's something that I can learn from as a leader on this team. And what happens in-house should be protected, and none of that should have gotten out. And so want to publicly apologize about that, want to move forward, and now want to focus on the Cleveland Browns.
Time now to welcome in CBS Sports NFL analyst Emory Hunt. Emory, it feels as if it was ages ago, but also just a day ago when the Dolphins were the hottest new show, scoring 70 points on teams' fast offense, the quirky head coach. Now they are in complete turmoil, 1-5. And when you think about Tua writing his comments, how much do you think his apology will play in that locker room versus the Browns? Or is this a team past the point of repair in your eyes?
Man, make Tua the head coach. That sounded very head coach-like in his response to what he said on Sunday. I actually embrace what he's trying to do. He's trying to be this vocal leader this year, and we know not everyone leads the same way, Chris. And so a lot of people think in terms of a leader as someone who's vocal, who's yelling at you on the sideline, who's always saying something. They look at the quiet leader as someone that's not really leading from the front. So Tua was the quiet type that they're now trying to force into this leadership role. And you can tell he's kind of awkward in this gotta be vocal space. But I love what he said there because he took accountability. He wasn't lying. And he made sure he addressed the elephant in the room, like, hey, some things may not be, portrayed properly. The intent was there, but I may have screwed up the way I said it or how I said it or who I said it to. But the intent was right, and the players that he was talking to know he wasn't lying. But man, he sounds like a head coach more so than Mike McDaniel. I just thought that was a good showing for him, and a good showing for the team as well. So I think now they've gotten past that, they're refocused and ready for Cleveland, like you said.
All right, now, listen, speaking of Mike McDaniel, if Sunday turns into an ugly loss, to the 1-5 Browns, how hot is the seat for Mr. McDaniel in your eyes?
It's very hot because at the end of the day, when you look at this particular matchup they're playing, he may get saved because if they're playing solid, but the other side, Cleveland, is not playing well, there'll be calls for Shedeur Sanders more so than everyone focusing on how bad or good Miami is playing. Although, if Cleveland goes out there and Dylan Gabriel is out there balling, man, this seat is going to be super hot because Cleveland is probably in a worse spot than Miami is in terms of perception. And we know how this season has gone for Mike McDaniel and his tenure. I think this is one of those games, one of those inflection point type games where we can see some chairs moved around, some furniture moved around at the end of the result if it's not favoring Miami.
So Mike McDaniel on the hot seat, and now Brian Callahan is looking for work after the Titans fired him. And guess who Tennessee faces this week, Emory? The man they fired 2 seasons ago in Mike Vrabel in the Patriots. Vrabel said that storyline of facing his old team is more interesting than important. So with all that being said, how do you see this one being played out on the field?
As a member of the petty party of America, I fully acknowledge what we're about to see from Mike Vrabel. Vrabel is going to try to beat these dudes like it's homecoming, and they're playing on the road. So at the end of the day, when you're playing against a team that you felt like you was done wrong, man, he's going to open up a whole new can against this Titans team. So there's no love lost because he was doing a solid job, a very good job with that program. Had those guys competitive. You knew what you were going to get from a Tennessee Titans program, a team coming into every week. They were going to be physical. They were going to be tough. They were going to be not an easy win if you were going to win the ball game, but you know you were going to leave that game battered and bruised. Now we don't know what we're going to get from Tennessee week in, week out, and Mike Vrabel has taken that approach and applied it to New England. He's also shown he's developed a rookie quarterback because of how well Drake May is playing so far this season. So it looks great for Mike Vrabel. Everything right now looks horrible for Tennessee. So of course he's coming into this ball game ready to let them know, hey, this is what you could have had. Look what you let walk out the door, and look how great I am now. Check me out now. I'm flying now. Like, check me out now, everybody. So I think that's what he's doing. So I love this approach for him as well because, man, revenge is served sweet and cold like iced tea.
100%. Now the Titans, to that point, they have 4 wins over the last 2 seasons since they fired Mike Vrabel. Mike, he has 4 wins with the Patriots this season alone. So clearly, Mike is like, as you said, flexing, listen, y'all shouldn't have fired me, but you did, and now I'm cooking with New England. And New England, Emory, is among, all right, one of the teams that have some trade buzz. We're 3 weeks away from that trade deadline. What's a trade that you really want to see happen in the NFL?
How about this? Cleveland got like a zillion picks. How about sending one of those second-round picks they got to the Philadelphia Eagles and Howie Roseman and get A.J. Brown? A.J. Brown, as talented as he is, he seems to always have something to say when things aren't going his way. Not the team's way, his way. And I know it's coming from a good place, but, man, it's getting loud. So, in my opinion, if you're the Browns, you already have Jerry Jeudy, which is a very good starting point at wide receiver. Man, get your future franchise quarterback, Shedeur Sanders, a bona fide number 1 or 1A to Judy's 1B, and now you have balanced out the passing game because you have a good tight end, David Njoku. You also drafted Harold Fannin. You have drafted good running backs that you have that are playing really well as rookies. Go get you another bona fide number 1 out there wide receiver. So when Shedeur does take over, he has A.J. Brown on one side, Jerry Jeudy, 2 good tight ends, 2 good backs, and then you can work on your offensive line. That's how you go and make things happen for your team that's struggling right now. And plus, if you're Philly, man, you get a second-round pick that come April, we're going to be like, wow, how did this person fall to Philadelphia in the second round? And you get rid of a malcontent in A.J. Brown.
Hey, man, that would be wild to see. I know people have been thirsty to see A.J. Brown going to another team. The trade deadline should be very entertaining. Emory Hunt, we always appreciate the time, man. And make sure to tune in to CBS this Sunday. The Week 7 slate includes Mike Vrabel's return to Tennessee as the Patriots look to make it 4 straight wins. The late window includes a battle of division leaders as Jonathan Taylor and the Colts visiting Justin Herbert and the Chargers. And you can stream your local game on Paramount Plus all season long.